Stephen F. Austin, head coach Kyle Keller brings the Lumberjacks back into the Southland Conference after 3 years in the WAC, where they tied for the regular season title in their first year before being riddled with injuries the past two seasons. The Jacks went into the NCAA Tournament in 2018 and 2020. Don't forget that 2020 team went into Cameron and beat Duke, and I watched every second. Coach, it's great to see you, man.
You too, Ken. Yeah, that was a fun night and it's a fun season, and we've made a lot of good memories here, and I appreciate being able to share a lot of those with you. You do a great job in promoting college basketball and promoting young players and coaches and what you do for our sport, and we appreciate all that you do, Ken. And thanks for all your efforts. You do a great job.
Thanks a lot, Coach. I love doing it. Just talking to different people, finding out the different ways of doing things. It's all good as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, well, you did an excellent job.
Thank you. Hey, when you look at moving back into the Southland Conference now, doesn't that provide maybe more stability and being more of a sectional location? As it seemed, the WAC is generally changing and it's kind of spread out.
Yeah, I think the previous league we were in had a lot of moving parts to it. And, obviously their commissioner just left as well. I mean, and you talk about, obviously in college athletics, I don't know what stability is except for a few leagues maybe and a few linchpins. And you have to be prepared to move, I think, at all times and look for what's best for your particular university and for what your interests lay in and where your footprint might be best fit for. And for us at Stephen F. Austin, we feel like, again, it's back against with our regional rivalries. It can drive attendance, drive the attraction for what our fans are familiar with competing against. And we're excited about that. Excited doing the luncheon tours, promoting our program here around here. Our fans are excited about being able to travel to go watch us play on the road as well as home. And some of those familiar names that we've seen come and playing against. And our fans are really familiar with playing some of the teams that we've had to play against here lately, which I think in familiarity that draws people into watching you play. That's why attendance is sparked a lot of times in some schools like ours in those, January, February games versus maybe the November, December games when you don't know who they are. And we were getting those for 4.5, 5 months out of the year here lately. One of the largest crowds we had last year, we played in New Orleans in December during Christmas break because our fans were used to playing the University of New Orleans. So I think that was a big piece for us in being an opportunity to move forward back to the Southland Conference.
I studied your roster, and Matt Heyman returns to the perimeter where he was a scorer last season, along with the 6'9", and you may have to help me with the gentleman's name.
Can't help you with that one. Nana? That's
Nana.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Nana. And I was curious about how these two players can constitute potential successful matchups for you.
Yeah, I mean, both of them are fifth-year guys, been in the program. Nana's his fifth year, have a master's by this spring. Matt graduates in December. Both have won a lot of games. They both have won championships here, and really proud that they would decide to return and continue their athletic career here at Stephen F. Austin. And just great character guys and lead our program on a daily basis. And, Nana's played in the Southland. Matt has not. He's the one guy in our program who's played in the Southland and won a championship here. And so he's excited about telling our guys where to go, where to eat, those type of things, where the bus is supposed to be, and what the gyms look like. And so, I think that, Matt's a 6'5" guard who has some size and ability and can handle the ball and, shoot, drive, dribble, pass, shoot at his size. Hopefully will, allow us to be successful. And Nana at 6'9" can really shoot. score at the basket some as well. So, it brings some versatility at 6'9" and 230 pounds.
Defensively, the Lumberjacks had a good season in forcing turnovers and recording steals. Now, how does Krishan Christmas fill into your defensive production?
Yeah, Krishan's another returning guy, and he's a junkyard dog, a tough kid. Was a junior college transfer after a year. Was a junior this year, and just brings a grit and toughness to our program. Really, I think he's improved his jump shot probably as much as anybody we've had here from year one to year two. And I think you need to make an improvement from year one to year two. That's when most really good players do. And he's done that for us. So it's exciting to watch him improve and his ball handling skills and his ability as a player. So, he's got great length and size and toughness and can play all over the floor.
I love the philosophies of the game. Everybody's is different, I think, across the boards. I wanted to know if when you plan your offensive attack, how do you define your base offense? And then how many set plays do you generally use per player?
Well, we probably changed with this team because like our team this year, average height is 6'6" and our average weight's 212. So
Mhm.
we've got a unique team. I think it's probably the biggest team in the Southland. I would think we recruited to compete in the WAC, and I think was probably going to be the biggest team in the WAC as well. But we want to continue to grow and keep getting bigger. This team, we were trying to play faster and play with more pace. And we probably have at this time really one true point guard in our program, and with a lot of positionless guys and the ability to bring the ball, pass the ball, hopefully shoot the basketball. So our base offense is going to be the majority of what we do. And, right now I think we have 5 set plays in currently. And we took a foreign trip to Italy this summer. I think we ran 3 set plays while we were over there. I hope that the pace that we play at and the main actions we run out of transition break or things like that to create an advantage for our team with our abilities as basketball players to create an advantage will allow, their skill set to really be good for our team.
Your trip to Italy, now I'm wondering how many games you played and then what did you learn that you can pass along? I don't want you to give me everything, of course.
Oh, no, no, no.
Yeah.
No, I think, we played 3 games and got better every game while we were over there. And that's what it's for. And, it went good. Nobody's feelings got hurt. Everybody got to play. Everybody got to participate. And so that was the biggest thing is that, everybody got to do what they're supposed to do while they're over there. And the biggest thing, the 10 practices that you get in the summer to get some advancement in your program, to learn what you want out of them, especially, for us, we have, 6 or 7 new players and integrate them within our program in key pieces because we lost some guys that scored some points for us a year ago, even though we returned a lot of guys that played. We need some of our newcomers to really score the ball for us. And, I think the biggest thing that we learned is that we feel like that we have a really deep basketball team again. And I think you mentioned this earlier. I think when we are deep and healthy, we usually have a really, really good season. And so for me, what I've really tried to concentrate on is shortening our practices so we stay healthy. I mean, we've got one guy out right now. I got kind of popped in our scrimmage last Saturday, and just trying to condense what we're trying to do, make it quicker and shorter, and keep us all out there because I think if we can stay healthy, we've got a really good opportunity to be good.
Which player is your pure point guard?
Keon Thompson.
Yeah.
And Keon was second in Atlantic 10 and turnover to assist to turnover ratio. Just
UMass.
really, yeah, UMass, that's exactly right. Averaged about, 10 or 11, 9, 10, 11 points a game, and just a hard rocking guy. Head of the snake defensively, can really defend, tough, aggressive, but it's like Krishan Christmas you brought up earlier. And they both grew up kind of playing together. So they were friends earlier, and they're built out of the same mold. So, and Krishan's about 4 inches taller than Keon. Krishan's about 6'5" and Keon's about 6'1". So, I think he can really create havoc guarding the basketball for us out front. Like a kid we used to have, John Como, that played here on that team that you talked about that beat Duke. I mean, I think Keon has a chance to be our best point guard I've had in my 9 years here because he's just better offensively. And I think he can be as good defensively as Como was.
Miles Jenkins is another
Yeah,
scorer from you, and then Keith Lamar's numbers at Florida A&M were complementary with what I'm sure you're looking for. I
yeah,
was interested in their response and the competition in practices.
yeah. So Miles is a senior that I'm counting on in a big way. Last year, he got hurt numerous times. It kept him from people really seeing what he's capable of doing. Miles has got a ton of ability, and he, got hurt a little bit this summer, didn't allow him to play in Italy. Um, but has been healthy the whole time this fall. So he's really, doing a great job in practice and just a strong, powerful guard that can do a bunch of stuff. And then Keith Lamar, we recruit him really hard. We actually recruited him out of high school, probably made a mistake in not getting him, not recruiting him hard enough, not having him here for his time. Because it's 6'7", 6'8", can really shoot the basketball. So 42% last year and made 2 threes a game. But the thing that I really, I liked the most about it, besides just being a shooter, was, he led the SWAC in defensive rebounds. So, he's not just a shooter; he'll stick his nose in there and do some other stuff. Um, and he just adds some versatility as a big guard that I think can cause major matchup problems for us as we go into conference play. We passed the airport eye test. We're a good looking basketball team, and I don't think we've lost a lot of quickness because of it. And we've always had great speed and ability to turn people over, and we've gotten bigger. And because of our length, I think we can really make the floor look really small because of it.
As a coach in what generally would be termed, I guess, a mid-major, what are
Yeah.
some strategies that are complementary to recruiting? With the transfer portal, the way it is in the NIL sitting there, and I love the NIL, by the way. I'm glad these kids are able to, get some money for what they do, for what they earn for, their school and TV. What are some ways complementary to recruiting now that you have those two things, the transfer portal and the NIL? They're talked about more than what kind of press offense you probably run.
Well, I think that they obviously they go hand in hand. Like, the truth of the matter is, I mean, if you want me to be frank, I mean, it's hard to be successful today if you don't have an NIL opportunity for these young men. You mentioned earlier a friend of ours who's you gotta identify players that whatever your budget is, in this NIL world, what can you afford? Who can you get on whatever your budget is? And uh, quite frankly, and that's the bottom line, especially in the transfer portal when you're getting however many you're getting out of it or whatever you're trying to have to pay the roster you have returning. And it's like a professional, capologist or whatever. And um, because that's where it is. I mean, it's no different than managing the staff that you have. And if you've got a great coaches and they do a great job and they're getting offered more money to go coach somewhere else, you have to decide as a university, do you want them to continue to work for you? Are you going to pay them more money if they go leave and go somewhere else? Or are they going to take more money to go coach somewhere else? I mean, they're no different than the coaches that you have working for us at this point. And I agree with you. I mean, these kids, because it is a full-time job, not just playing, but their academic component of it and their practice habits and their sponsorship towards your university and all the marketing that they do. And I mean, they are the front door to the university that drives attendance to the university for the most part. I mean, you read the newspapers in every place you go. Um, there's a reason why there's a sports section.
Sure.
People are interested in it, right? And you're surely hoping they're talking positive about you in that section.
Two players coming aboard here. I saw Thierno Silla play at UCF last season, and Chris Johnson. It could be a quality inside outside duo. I was really impressed with Silla's length and his athleticism to be as big of a player as he is.
Yeah, I mean, two Big 12 players, two Big 12 transfers. One's a 7'5", Tierno's a 7'5" wingspan, 7-footer, but he has great, tremendous speed and quickness,
Mhm.
athleticism. Really trying to focus him on driving the basketball, not being just a 3-point shooter, which I think he was a lot at Central Florida, and just became that's who he was. And he's got more in his game than just that. He actually led us in scoring Saturday in our scrimmage, and it didn't make a three, just put it on the floor the whole time because he has so much. He has many other. He can bounce it, dribble it, learning to pass successfully. So, and then Chris Johnson is a highly recruited player out of Montverde there in the state of Florida, where you are, and
Mhm.
signed with Kansas and ended up not going and went to Texas and played some as a freshman. And our fans here are familiar with him. He's from Houston originally. He went to Elkins High School, and hoping that making the transition that can become the player and showcase who he is versus having to sit on somebody's bench and make it he and his family and everybody else proud about what he's accomplished. And we think, has a chance to be an elite guard for us at 6'5", can do a lot of stuff. Proud of both of guys who haven't been counted on to do a lot, and we'd like for them to do a lot for our program because we think they're capable of doing it. Just haven't done it. I mean, talk about the transfer portal. We tried to take guys that won at other places or came from winning programs, so they knew what winning looked like. And because I think it's hard to take somebody that had been someplace that hadn't won, uh, and then you invest in it because their habits aren't great and they don't know how to win at the highest level. And I think that's what everybody talks about, culture and things like that. Well, if guys have been places that know how to win, then they understand what it takes to win basketball games.
When you have shooters, I know play a really good fast pace. It's something I want to watch, something basketball people want to watch. You're going to have shooters. So, what is your philosophy on how to get a shooter to rediscover his touch when he goes in a slump?
Well, you never, you always try to build confidence with people, and never try to tell them it's a bad shot that they're going to make their next. But the only way I know to build confidence is by practice and hard work. And we talk about around here is squeeze 3-point shots. And what's a squeeze? And that's where you make the defense help, and you becomes a step in, walk in 3-point shot that you practice versus taking a contested 3-point shot. It's hard to make that in college basketball. So are you taking the right shot or not taking the right shot? That's really important to a guy, especially if you're struggling, because you want to see it with two eyes, not necessarily with one. Those shots are hard to make with one eye, with one hand contested. But if you got a chance to shoot it with two, then you're probably getting a better chance of the ball going in the basket. But confidence is paramount to a guy more than anything else. So, if you talk about shot selection, good shot, bad shot, whatever, that's going to raise a lot of doubt, in my opinion, for guys that aren't great shooters. You got to give them confidence. You got to breathe it.
I have a really strong opinion about what I call a lack of framework and a plan for the transfer portal, the NIL. It seems like everybody just woke up one day and it was out there. And of course, Tony Bennett leaves Virginia here 3 weeks before the season starts, and he outlines all this and how it affects him. So, has coaching become tougher than it was maybe 7 years ago?
I think it's changed your responsibility as a coach.
Mhm.
And I think you recruit differently. So you had to adjust to that difference in what's going on. Is it tougher? I don't know about being tougher. You're recruiting different. You're recruiting a lot of older guys.
Mhm.
Most of your team is probably older. Does that make it harder? I don't know about that. You know, dealing with, I mean, coaches are problem solvers. You know, all coaches want to win. All coaches, every coach is a problem solver. Um, so you know, the parameters are laid out. And we're going to try to figure out what we need to do to solve the problem and be successful. Uh, Tony Bennett had done it their way for such a long period of time, and not ever going to speak for Tony Bennett. You know, I don't know him and others who have decided to move on to something else. Like, I don't blame him one bit. Like, it's changed a lot, and you know, I'm sure that you know there's a drain on him, and I applaud him for doing what he did. But it has changed, and the demands on what we have to do as far as, you know, fundraising for NIL, the phone calls you make in a portal may be different than a little bit different with the type of deal that you had in recruiting, because, you know, they are about, you're dealing with questions about money versus, you know, why wouldn't a kid come to your place when the roster spot's open and you can really help this young man fit and play perfect fit for your program? But if you don't have enough money, a lot of kids go somewhere else, and maybe they have somebody else in the same position, but they can get more money somewhere else and they don't get to play. So I think that's the frustrating part for maybe some people. And I understand why. I've seen it happen with us as well. Like, you know, and kids hold out to see, maybe get a little more, or not get it what they want. Don't want to make the right decision for themselves, and hoping they can get more in the end. And see these high school kids right now, like they're struggling to make decisions because they think they're going to get a bunch of money. But like, at the end of the day, Ken, like, you know, the best player for the Spurs is who?
Well, it's Wembanyama.
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
what's his contract on that team? About 10th highest paid player on this team.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, it's not, he ain't the highest paid player.
No, no.
So, but he's their best player. But
Yeah,
my point is, you know, freshmen and rookies, you know, until they do it, they shouldn't get paid the most.
right.
You know, versus these older guys in college who have done it at the collegiate level and proven they can help your program win. They deserve the money versus the freshmen just coming into college. And so a lot of these high school guys are trying to get Division I transfer, multi-year, proven they can do it at the college level, the same money, and they haven't done it. So they don't deserve that money, in my opinion.
Sure.
And that's where I think that a lot of the agents, and I don't know if Tony Bennett's speaking to this,
Mhm.
but that's where, to me, a lot of the agents have it wrong, in that high school players should never get as much as a guy in college who's done it for a couple of years. Like, there's a difference there. Why would you, like, the NBA free agents should make twice as much, 3 times as much as a rookie coming in the league, because they've done it. They've proven they can do it at the NBA level. You don't know if a rookie can do it or not, no matter how great people say they are. I mean, I would much rather pay a free agent than a high school guy, or, you know, or vice versa, right? I mean, you know what I'm saying? A portal guy versus a high school guy. And
Sure.
that's why where it is with, we have a freshman who's a dang good player in our team, Dominic Pangonis. He's
Mhm.
really good, but he ain't done it at our level yet. And you can see his you know, him learning curve is, you know, it's coming. He's going to be really good for us. He's going to play a lot. He's good.
Coach Kyle Keller, we're looking forward to the Lumberjacks on the hardwood out in Natchitoches, Texas. Did I say that right?
Pretty good.
Pretty
Back
good.
in Texas.
Very good. Hey, I taught English for 21 years, so I should have gave that one on a spelling test.
There you go. There you
Hey,
go.
hey, good luck to you, and I thank you for your time, coming on here today.
No, Ken, I appreciate you. And like I said, hey, appreciate what you do for college basketball, and the coaches and the players, and promoting the game. It's a beautiful game. It's changed, but it doesn't mean it can't be better, and the benefit the student athlete and everybody else. Everybody understands that we're just trying to, you know, if we don't have players and kids to coach, we have nothing. So we all have to remember that we're doing this for the kids.